is right. Welcome to live Sunday night with me, Big Sky 35. Invite is out to my friends. We'll see if they come on. If not, I got plenty to talk about. Uh, so, uh, Winston Salem, we're in a few days of a deep freeze starting tonight. It's supposed to get down to like 14 tonight. So, something we're not used to down in this area. So, a little freak out going on, but it is what it is. I don't know how many people have gotten out there, have gotten advent calendars. I've been doing it, trying to do daily. I missed a couple of days here lately, last week or so. It's just been not crazy, just I just slips my mind. I get home, I just want to relax, just trying to get stuff done. We got Carlisle's in here, Polar Bear. The Cubs would have made more sense. What's up, Jeff? Victor Dana now Alonso is our problem in the AL East. Yes, he is. Sound is weird, sort of hollow sounding. Huh. Evening Scott, very festive. I don't know why. Let's see. Let me make sure I got the right. My plugins have been looking kind of funny today. Nope, that's the reason why. Thank you, Carlisle. Um, yeah, let's see here. It doesn't even have. Oh, wow. Thank you, Carlisle, for that. I don't really want to back out and come back in. I should have probably checked that before it started. Uh, yeah, it's definitely coming off of a different microphone. It's on my camera and not my, you know, the one I want. Yeah, the I've been talking about it. What's up, Hodges? Nice to see you. If you haven't checked, check each other's videos out. Please do. Uh, I am, like I said yesterday, wish he would have signed with the Mets. And I've always talked about it's like how what do you do when your favorite player, guy you collect, currently is traded or goes to another team for whatever reason? Do you stop collecting him if he's not on your team or whatever? I kind of dodged that bullet because the Orioles is my favorite American League team. Um, I've been a Orioles was my childhood team. I have I used to keep a book of Orioles cards as well as Mets. It just got to be too much and just kept up with the Cal Ripkins. But man, my earliest memories, Lowenstein and Bummery and Earl Weaver and uh, you know Jim Palmer. Uh, I've told a story where I met Brooks Robinson as a kid. Just amazing. So Brooks was I was a little too young for him, but growing up in Virginia, you knew who he was. He was they touted him. He was on the games. He was doing the shows. So uh, yeah. So Dale Murphy is a Philly. Freddie Freeman is a Dodger. No idea what you're talking about, right? Yeah, I know. Well, I've talked about it before. Conforto was like the first one, and then Syndergaard and Degrom. I kept losing players. I was really vested in, not invested, but vested in, like emotionally. I really like Degrom's comeback this year. At least he's playing for a team again. I don't actively collect him for the Rangers. I don't even actively collect him for the Mets anymore. Um, back in the day, Strawberry Gooden, they were on other teams, Dodgers, Yankees. Even Gary Carter after the Mets moved on, Giants, Dodgers, and then back to the Expos. Piazza to Florida for a half a second. Um, but I love the game. Like I said before, I am also, I collect Frank Thomas, Ken Griffey. I don't actively go after them like I used to as much because cook that polar bear meat. No, no, hold on. I dropped something. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. And uh, I I feel very lucky that he went to a team that I like, or more. I mean, they're number two for me. Um, but I'm always going to be a Mets fan. Love the Mets. I was sitting here thinking before the show, like I don't know if there's going to be another poll. I didn't know there was going to be another David Wright for me. Polar Bear came along. I mean, Neil kind of captured me there for a half. I just don't like. I didn't like his attitude. He gets so frustrated when he plays and stuff. I didn't like that. It's a Fisher Orioles side. Not totally. I've always been, like I said, I got Orioles stuff. I have a few hats. I have a few shirts. Shirts are turned into work undershirts like this one. But you can only root for one team at a time. I thought briefly Atlanta might try to convince him to play for us with on a short contract, but we already have plenty of people that strike out. Well, that's everybody. I stand by. I was shocked when that came across. I was at work. Uh, I got the text message from a friend, or it was posted in my group chat. I think Ed posted it. Um, uh, but of course, then I started getting text messages and DMs and everybody at work. Just anybody that kind of knows me knows I'm a huge Pete Alonso fan, and they just know. I'm happy. I'm happy he's not a Philly. B, he's not a Yankee. Those things. Big Scott buying Jack's holiday fun face. Yeah, I like. I do have Jackson holiday cards. I do collect his rookie stuff. I collect Adley Rushman rookie stuff. Because that's if I kind of like a player like James Woods or somebody, I don't go. I stop going after all their cards. I just kind of stick with the rookies, uh, and that's about it. I thought when he accepted a 1 year deal with the Mets last season that he was sort of giving him an ultimatum. He could have bailed for more money that season if he wanted. I don't know if he could. That was a pretty big contract. I would still like to own a copy of Pete's 2020. Yeah, yeah. Uh, uh, Pete's 20. Yeah, that. I guess so. Is that the? Are you talking about the polar bear one? Is that the polar bear? I'm not paying $300 for a picture of a polar bear. That was the last time I saw it. But yeah, I guess I lucked out on this one for being a fan. Yeah, I thought that's what you're talking about. I man, I feel so happy. I would have been really. You would have saw me probably jumping around this house, this apartment, if my poor neighbors downstairs probably would have said, "Who? What the hell?" But y'all would have saw some ups because if he would have signed with the Mets, if he would have got a 5 year deal with the Mets, I would have been so happy. I'd have been rooting hard for him to get 500 home runs. I still want to see him get 500 home runs, and I wished him the best. I hope the Mets and Orioles play each other in the World Series. That would be a great, great, great World Series. Uh, of course, the Orioles need help. The Mets need help. Now they have the funds to kind of get the help they desperately need. And so it's not, if they go out and get stuff that they need off of this and not just throw it away, I won't be, I feel it's bad. But it's a wait and see. The owner, the general manager, they know the fans. I'm sure fans in New York. I know the fans in New York. The fan. radio station right, Eric, there. They want heads on a platter, and I understand that. But the reality is, it's a business. They already got a few big. I really think if they would have traded McNeil and got some young players in return without big contracts, I really think they would have got signed Pete. Um, but it just didn't happen. So the New York metric scare not winning anything. Oh, metrics are not winning anything. New York metrics are not winning anything. Yeah, I hope they're not going by that. I hope people watched what Toronto did last year, playing Donnie baseball. Uh, I hear he's real close to signing as a bench coach somewhere. I thought he was got signed in the Yankees organization, but I could be very wrong. I mean, I hope you know I hope back to it. My little bit of baseball talk for tonight, and we'll get to the cards. Is they need contact. You got to put the ball in play. You have to make things happen. If you strike out, nothing happens. Other than you got an out and a soft seat on the bench. So, but to the cards, I'm happy. Like I said yesterday, as a collector, because this is a collector's channel that does some selling, I will collect heavy Mets. This will help me really concentrate on the Mets cards I don't have of him, and really go after more Mets cards. And I will probably just get I would like to have his Orioles first base flagship, and I would love to have an autograph of him in the Orioles. I did buy the Topps Now signing card of him, so to have it in my Pete Alonso book, because it's historical. It's a historical moment. I have almost all of his Topps Now cards. I had almost all. So there's a few I don't have that I missed over the years. I actually thought the Braves would be interested in Manley as manager before we decided on Weiss. I just think the Braves have a mindset that probably doesn't fit Mattingly, but not saying it's not right or wrong. I just think it's a different mindset. Uh, I don't know if Mattingly. Maybe Mattingly's not a manager. He might be better as a bench coach or a hitting instructor, where the pressure of him making all the decisions, being the guy, and he can really help the players. I know Washington really excelled at that. I think he's like that. Even though Ron Washington is a great manager too. I think he's better at being an instructor. Being the head coach, it's really tough to do that. I guess we have a Topps Living Alonso card as an Oriole. Look forward to. Yeah, one day. I don't know what Topps is really. I did buy my first basketball card, Topps Living. I really are digging those. They had an older player. Can't wait to get it. Hall of Fame card, so I grabbed it. And then, I really do like the Topps Living set, and I wish they would do more with it. I think they're really missing out on some things on that with other sports. I think they got it in soccer. They got it in, maybe once they get the football finalized, they'll have it in that as well. I really, really like that card design, those card designs, the art cards. I think they're neat. And if you're looking for shorter printed cards, that's a good way to get. Same with Topps Now. I don't buy basketball cards generally, but I have the Topps Living Bill Russell card on the way. I think that's the one I got. Also picked up LeBron because he was card number one. Yeah, I I did get the Bill Russell. Um, I think that was the one I got. If not, I will probably pick it up somewhere on eBay or something. But I because I don't think that was the one I got. Didn't you have Garnett? I think that's the one I got. It was Garnett. Uh, but anyway, the other thing I wanted to touch on tonight, uh, I had one on. So I heard what, or I saw secondhand or tertiary. I saw a little bit of Carlos talking about it. Of our friend Jeff Wilson talking about why would uh, they do what what people are claiming they did or what they actually did, and what would be the reasoning. They're $1 million company. What would be that'd be like pennies. And I'm like, well, that's that's what millionaires do is they collect pennies to make dollars, and they understand every bit of money that comes in is profitable. And if they could see an easy way, I think I think that's the difference in us everyday hardworking, honest people and the way we think to what the millionaire class thinks. And I've said this before. When they bought this, everybody's like, "Oh, they're collectors," and I'm like, "Oh, that's bullshit. They collect money. The cards come secondary. The cards are an investment for them because they can get the big ones. They can only sell between them. And the more I'm looking at it, I really think there is going to be a class system in buying cards. Like, you're going to have more and more of your glass cases are going to be comma cards, or your $100, few $100 cards, and you're going to have to go digging through the boxes for us poors to find other stuff. Um, the dollar boxes have turned into value boxes. And you still have dollar boxes and quarter boxes and all that, but they're far in between. Even boxes where you got to ask how much stuff is because they're not labeled. Um, I think that's where it is. It's going to be the separation where, uh, and that's okay. It's always been some type of separation, but I see it more and more now because once I got into the selling, I sell quarter cards, I sell 50-cent cards, dollar cards. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, the re- I have to deal with people that claim they didn't get their two 20-cent cards in the mail, so I literally had to refund them $1.70. That happened twice in 2 days this weekend for me. I just and they didn't really give the time, and it's I just give them $1.70 and I block them, and I mean I don't want to deal with that nonsense. Card nonsense. I should put it on their little Facebook page. Yeah, Sport Lots. Uh, Eric, I have like 21, well over 21,000 cards right now on there. I do have some pricier ones as well, um, but I do undersell. I just want to get rid of stuff. I'm in. My problem is I can't stop buying them while I'm selling. Uh, I last month I sold 250 cards and ended up getting a Johnny Bench stamp. Let's see this. Yeah, this Johnny Bench stamp right here card, and I got one other one that I'll show this Wednesday. So I sold 250 cards, I think, to buy two cards. I do that all the time, and 250 cards at average, like I think my average was like 75 cents a card last month, something like that. So I'll take that. The problem is postage has gone up so much here in the last year. It's been tough. Um, I bought up all the nicer Pete Alonsos. I'm waiting for now. I've been kind of looking at eBay to see what's going to be hitting for Pete Alonso's because I'm sure they should be. Last year when people thought he wasn't going to sign back with the Mets, there was an influx of Mets cards out there. Big respect wearing the O's hat. We collect the players even when the teams break our hearts. I am an O's fan though, Dom. So it's understandable. Mets cards are pretty cheap. Yeah. Get that clear. I am looking. That is the one card, Eric, that I'm willing to spend for, right? On a modern card. I really modern cards, I kind of stay within a certain budget, no matter what they are. I'll live without them. I don't know how other people feel. Did Ed send you the picture of the black Pujols? What year were you looking for that Pujols card? I know he said that. See my fingers. See my fingers. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. At the Philly show this week. Philly show seems like another successful weekend. They had a YouTube get together this year there. I'll be talking more on what my plans are later in the next few weeks for 2026. I am going to do a recap of like how my 2025 went. We will never have it all. Just thankful for what we can grab when we grab. Yeah, I'm that way, Dom. I stay in. I give myself $5 a day on eBay. I can either see something I really like and spend it, and not spend money. And I'll put down like when I can buy something again. I'm trying to discipline myself on not going crazy on, trying to be a good boy. And, I got to move out of where I'm at. I don't have to, but traffic's so bad in the morning on my 30-minute commute. I'm already stressed out before I get to work. It is horrible. So I really want to move closer to work. I want to move into a little bit better area, a little bit better apartment complex. I don't like the way this one's going since the new management. But that's personal things. But I got to think, you have to think about stuff like that when you're hobbying or spending money on anything. Like, what else you have going on? What else can you spend money on? And I'm, not that I'm realizing that at 54. It's just, I have to think about that coming up, right? I have to make sure that everything is good to go. And if I have to pay for movers, holy cow, paying for movers now is, I don't know. Yeah, focus. Yes, and I will be talking more about that for 2026 and how my 2025 and the probably next 2 Sundays. What do we have? How many Sundays we got left in this year? The road to 2026. Jeremy Lee, you can use it if you want. So we got 2 more Sundays, like I think. Next week I'll do a 2025 recap, and then the last one, 2026, where my hobbying is going. And you can see behind me, I have a little bit of everything. Kind of purposely turned it like this to show where I'm at. I'm not just a card collector. Y'all know my channel. I get joked on about not joked on, but I lose people with the Star Wars stuff and the gaming stuff, and I understand that. But this is a collector's channel, and I want to emphasize that. So I will be talking more about that, but more on cards. That's what we're here for tonight. Is cards. And please, if anybody has anything, throw it out there. We can discuss it. Uh, a little dry tonight here. Getting cold at heat running. I don't like it. Uh, but yeah, this week I did I found I did get a blaster of archives because I pretty much bought everything that I base stuff and things from Mike. But I wanted to open up a blaster. I haven't opened it yet. I got it there. I did open up a blaster of Topps Chrome today. Um, I, I mean, if you have open Topps Update or seen Topps Update, it's just in Chromium, except you get the Chromium like sepias and stuff like that. Whereas Mike, today he had to work. This is his work weekend, so I didn't think he would make it on. Usually, he might be still at work. Um, this next 2 weeks, he's going to be crazy. He just did Topps Archives. Carlisle, you're always a little behind, buddy. He did Topps Archives this past week. Topps Archives are beautiful. I think he opened. Did he open a case? I think he did. Because he sent me. He didn't know if he was going to get to it, and his dad opened it, and he sent me like pictures of all his hits. He did get a Ryan Howard auto for his PC, so I was real happy. Whenever you hit, your PC and it's shared, man, it's awesome. And yes, he opened them. You mean he's already had the last sale after? Yeah, he had it this past week. He needs to contact you, like personally. He sends. Of course, me and him talk about it every day, but he needs to contact you, Carl. I'll let you. I'm sure he's got the Brave stuff set to his side. I'm sure he does. I can't remember what Brave stuff was in there, but the archives looked. I thought that was interesting. It was a cross between, to me, Big League and like, because I always put archives in that the lowest rung of like collecting cards, like below, uh, you know, the uh, the main one, flagship, is the word I'm looking for. And I put, archives probably in Big League and all those opening day kind of below. Even though they have good, you can get good hits in them, get the short prints, whatever. But I just overall, to me, but this year it looked almost like it was like almost big league-ish to me. Um, because I do miss Big League. I thought that was good for the younger ones, and it was a fun rip. $28 a box, $30 a box. Uh, I thought was always fun. They had cool inserts, nice looking cards. Because I think that's the way the hobby should be anyway. I think too much emphasis is in the 5 star and museum and all these big stuff. Archives this year is what, $200 a box. When did Gypsy Queen? Yeah, Gypsy Queen hasn't. I don't think they're coming out with that. Didn't they come out with Alan and Ginter a few weeks ago? What did I just buy from Mike? A bunch of stuff. Yeah, Alan and Ginter. Yeah, because I bought two or a blaster of Alan and Ginter. I got a thing of logo refractor. Yeah. So um, I never get any notifications. I've monopolized his Brave sales for years. You you need to go on his channel and make sure you click the bell icon so you get notifications. Um, Sometimes his are a little delayed too for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I pretty much after the Allen and Ginter, me and I pretty much it was me and one other person had private sale pretty much, and then it was more people there for Topps Archives. He did one for Update 2 as well. I bought a wax box of 8 and a Topps for $25 recently. Took it to a cigar shop to open with friends, crazy bastards, ate the gum. You're always going to find somebody that's going to chew the gum. Uh, our friend Reindeer Studios in his Etsy store has chew the gum and not chew the gum T-shirt stickers. Uh, Pretty cool shirts and stickers. Uh, so yeah, that the and I just and Eric, you probably feel the same way. We went kind of it was like a lull at the end of the baseball season. One of the best playoffs ever in history, right? And we don't really have cards. We Everything was delayed, and then all of a sudden, after Thanksgiving, Christmas, we have 3, 4 different products come out for baseball. Doesn't make any sense. We still waiting for Heritage High number. I don't. This has been. This is where Fanatics. I was over Fanatics side because I was like, they know how to do releases. They're used to release stuff. Yes, Fanatics does not care. They don't care. They care. Well, they care about one thing: making money. Uh, and because they're going to make their money regardless. Because of who? The breakers. The breakers are going to make the nut for Fanatics. It's one and the same. They're this now. We should embrace that. You know, find a breaker that you like and enjoy. Stay off of Whatnot. Talked about the guy that was almost proud of ripping off his customers. Uh, that dude needs a swift. That's a dude that's never been punched in the face. I got a friend at work that says that a lot. So I feel like that's where it's at. They don't. The common collector has been kind of forgotten about by the grading companies, by the card companies. I've talked about it before. The base is kind of we don't collect. The base is not collected. This kind of started before COVID, where you can see the stacks on tables at card shows and stuff when they bust boxes, and all they want is the inserts and the short prints that they know about them. But the funny thing is a lot of those people don't understand what cards to look for. I found some really gems in those stacks. We found some at Cleveland, I think we rummaged through. Somebody left on the table, and I really, I think we collect the well, people like to collect the inserts, the colors, the numbers, um, and I think I love when I talk to player collectors, team collectors, especially player collectors. Because that's where I'm at. Um, I people kind of because yes, do I put money into buying? If I save my money and stop buying the $5 cards or the $1 card, I could get the one of one for 5,000. Have I thought about that? Yes, but to me, I'd rather have I don't know all the other cards because that one of one most of the time is just a different color of the ones that I have, right? Um, I can live without the one of one. I can live without any of them, but in my mind, collecting wise, is I can get all the other colors and have more cards. I fight over quality quantity all the time in my brain, and I'm sure all collectors are that way. Let's see. Let me catch up here. Uh, they are slowly squeezing out LCSs and smaller breakers. Yes. I know my LCS when I was in Iowa, he couldn't even get his foot in the door, and this was before Fanatics. And he's got a brick and mortar, does well. host a card show every month. I think every 3 months. I can't remember. It's been 3 years since I've been out. I still get all of his messages. He couldn't get in. He'd have to give his money to another guy. And then what was happening was the guy would buy 15 cases, and then they'd strong arm you and go, okay, we give you 15 cases of X, but you got to take also 2 cases or 4 cases of, at that time, would have been like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, because nobody was buying it. And they would buy it because they have to. And then all of a sudden, they get delivered half of what they delivered on the main stuff, get the other stuff, and they're like, oh, we didn't have that. We didn't have enough to sell you. And then all of a sudden, the next day, they call, oh, we have 5 more cases, but they are marked up at 3 times the price. That was already happening before COVID. I know this for a fact. And also, there are players outside of the country, Dubai and these other rich countries, that were buying cases as well, by the many cases, not just 1 or 2. And, it's hard once the stuff leaves the country to get that stuff back. Let's see. Let me get back. Okay. We're flying here. We're flying. Yep. Exactly. It's like iPhones. I stay a few years behind. So, yeah, I got you on that, Don. I believe they want to phase out wax and just have breakers open the light style boxes on their network. Nothing, Eric, nothing surprised me now in this card world, this hobby we're in. I do video games, and video games is a little bit different. And also, I can tell you this: I've been watching some Pokemon stuff sales, because I was really interested in how they treat. There is a deep down hatred for resellers in both of those markets. And what I mean by resellers, I mean the people that go out and buy all the stuff off the shelves the day, or they go out. I mean, they showed a guy that went to the back room of Walmart trying to buy it a day early, which was stealing. They could have really called the cops on him. Then you have, all those people that want to go into Costco and buy up, the whole pallet. There is a deep hatred. And also, I've seen at video game cons where, the guys are walking around with wagons, and if they could buy out a dealer for very, very cheap and then resell it at 3 times the price that's on the, going, they will. And it's really bad, way worse than what we're dealing with. And it's also in the video game world, it's kind of starting to kill it a little bit. Not where it's going to die, but kind of killing the secondary sales where people are buying straight from vendors at shows and selling online. Let's see. I know it's not cost effective, but it's entertaining as hell to open up packs from time to time for hobby value. Excellent. Yeah, I still love it. I have a table full of wax, not full, but a lot of wax over here that I'll just pick up a box and do a break of the day or whatever. Them feeding the filter breaks, the loaded case last week only strengthens that belief for me. Yeah. Anybody that believes they're not sending certain cases to certain people, and in our group chat, we're kind of keeping up with who's getting the 101 debut patches, where they're ending up. I mean, what night people. But my thing is, if they were doing that, wouldn't they try to do it with their own breakers on the Fanatic breaks? That would be my. But or is that too obvious? What's up, Paul? Yeah, the scalpers. Yeah, they call them scalpers, which I I'm not buying tickets, but yeah, the scalpers. And it's I mean it's brutal. They'll call them out at stores. Uh, they'll call them out at shows. Um, it you'll see every once in a while somebody buy out a table at a show, or not a big table, but they will. And you know these guys. The one thing that the national tighten their reins on Tuesday, right? Monday, Tuesday, where it's only the vendors and all that, is where, and I didn't care. I don't care when people get in there to buy stuff. There's plenty of stuff to buy. It's not like, but that people pointing a finger that people are getting exclusive going in to get the cherry pick what they wanted to get. Like there won't going to be anything in there for everybody else, for the other 100,000 people that are coming in there. Like you're not going to find anything. Um, is it did knock that part of it down, even though I thought that was kind of ridiculous to begin with. I know Eric can't have your day zero, but they had 3 debut patches in one case. Yeah, that's crazy. I After watching what I watch, both breaks is the top fanatic. There you go. Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I do one guy, and I think on eBay, um, he has been up and up. He'll send you a pack of cards if you don't hit anything. He sends you all cards. So the only time you got to really worry about that is when you do this, like tier 1 or something. Um, Let me see if I can. I want to say it's legendary breaks. And eBay's pushing their lives so hard too. He does live on here now. He's got into that. That's not what I want. This makes for good. This is good. This is good shit right here. Save sellers. I don't like eBay. Hobby Legends is let me see if I can't. Share my screen. So this is who I usually go with. I've been breaking with this person for years. Like I said, you don't have to go with him. Just find one that you like, that you trust, right? And if you want to do it, I just find it a good way sometimes. And I wait, and I don't overpay. I make sure that I have a mind. I kind of look to see what autos are in there. And it's so hard to hit autos. It's like you can't make that your end all be all what you're running. That's what I don't understand about box prices. Why people pay. We talk about it all the time. What the odds are, and then the odds on top of that to hit the one card that you want. And then that one card that you want is not in one of the delights or in one, most of the time you're going to hit a pitcher that's a rookie that pitched 4 innings and probably end up in a Japanese league on a minor league team. Oh, I mean, or I didn't say JV team. I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say. Didn't want to round you up there. But you know what I'm saying. It just most likely you're going to hit somebody that nobody heard of or cares about, unless you can sell it to a family member of them. It's just that's the reality of but yes, is it a form of gambling? 100%. It's always been that. It was like that when I was pulling cards in the 80s. At least in the solos I could see who was in the front. and the back. So I was happy. We always were looking for what all stars or whatever we could find, right? And then and tear ripping them open and throwing them with hey, here, I got your car, I got my car. But anyway, it's always going to be a form of some type of gambling. But we always win at the end of it. We get a card. We get some cards. But we know there is a form of entertainment that comes along with that. And when that price is not right for the entertainment, because I've said it before, I pay to go see a movie. I get popcorn, I get a drink. Sometimes the movie sucks. Sometimes the movie sucks, and you just leave there hollow and like, I can't get that $20 back or whatever. Yes, it wasn't 170, but it could be the price of a blaster. So how did Pete Alonso become one of your guys? He's not even a catcher. I did play first base. I had a bad knee, so I had to stop catching. That's why I love Keith Hernandez. Again, saw Keith Hernandez like I did Gary Carter, Baseball Bunch. That's how I played first, very aggressively. How I became a Pete Alonso. First off, I'm a Mets fan, and he had a record rookie season. He's a bigger guy playing first, so he kind of checked off a lot of boxes. Uh, I kind of related to some of his trials and tribulations. Yeah. Um, so I liked his story. Sure, a good tub of popcorn to take the sting out of a bad movie. Right, you're right, you're right. And then when I found out, the sprinkling of M and M's or snow caps into those said popcorn, that's a fat boy's dream right there. When I found that was a fat boy's dream. Um, but that's how Carlisle is just. He had such that season, and then when he won the home run derby, and he was doing it because that's how he made his money for 2 seasons. And then they were saying like he didn't have any personality, so he's wearing these crazy shoes and dancing. And I just think that's why I like him. I thought he took New York by storm. He took the baseball world by storm, and that's it. I mean, I love David Wright. I played a little third, not much, but I love David Wright. He's a guy from Virginia. He was the captain, very charismatic, the smile that sailed ships. Uh, he got we got gypped because of his back, having issues, shorten his playing. But Alonso has stealth charisma. He does it with style and grace. I mean, he's gonna love playing in Baltimore, and Baltimore's gonna love him. Um, that I hope they're good, and that crowd gets crazy again this year, like it was 2 years ago with the splashdown. Uh, it's gonna suck. I'm gonna have to get a VPN or whatever to watch it. Yeah, I don't think he really had to look. I mean, he was really, you know, I think he's a good teammate. There's a lot of turmoil on that team that came out this year. They want Soto, I mean, to be more outgoing. McNeil doesn't get along with anybody. So and Lindor wants to have a party every game, but you know, what solves that? Winning. Winning solves everything. You win, nobody cares. So it's going to be interesting, and I don't know. I don't know what Met is going to fill that void for me, and it's going to be fun for me to wait. I'm having an issue as well with my Cowboys. I haven't had a Cowboy that really capped. I thought Micah was going to be that person, and after his first season and a half, I kind of started things that he was doing I didn't like. I usually really like an offensive lineman, but they're just so hard to collect for. Yeah, Soto wants to. Thank you. He was a good fit with the Mets, even as a Braves fan. I'm disappointed he's not a Met anymore. Yeah, he's just. I think he is a guy that you hate to play against, but love to have on your team. Right? He's going to be that 245, batting over. Get you 100 RBIs. He's going to get 40-ish home runs to 50. A down year's 35. I think he has 5 good years. I think they're going to get him at a good rate for 5 years. And it's going to be fun to watch in that American League East. I mean, he'll be on TV when he plays the Yankees, probably Boston as well. Boston's going to be better this year. National television, I mean. So I have to look forward for that. You know, this stupid system that we have to watch games. And now the baseball, I think, is going to ESPN. I'm hoping that might change a little bit. I don't know. So I think it's going to be on there like hockey is, because I can watch Caps games, but I also have Carolina right down the street in Raleigh, an hour and a half away from me. So I can't watch Braves games. Washington, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. All those teams are blacked out for me. So on the MLB package, I couldn't tell you why. Makes no sense. I don't have any of those. I don't even think we have the Braves in my area for on a cable channel. I think they're further south in North Carolina. Um, we don't have either Baltimore or Washington. So you know, but yeah, I think get back to the to buying and selling on the breakers. I've been talking about this. I hate to toot my own horn, but I'm going to do it. I've been talking about this breakers things for a while, especially when I started getting really friends with a couple of shop owners and how hard it is to get the stuff. I'm still worried about him changing leagues. Sometimes that's tough. Yeah. Um, but the pictures, I don't know, Carlisle, and geez, I keep getting off derailed myself here. Because they play so much interleague play now, I don't know if that's going to be the same issue as it used to be. So, but anyway, I'm not calling doomsday by any means. I think I've been praising retail. I think Fanatics is doing a better job now with retail than they did 2 years ago when they first took it over, because it almost felt like they took everything out of the retail product. It made it so hard to hit in the hobby product where it was damn near impossible, where it wasn't even fun. And I think they learned from that. But on the other hand, I still think they're geared. It's all geared for uh, for the breakers. And Eric, it stayed. Blasters were what, 14.99 for the longest time, then they went up to 19.99. Nobody really grumbled. Now they're like, is that how much a blaster is in the store? Because that's fine. NBA can. I don't. That Topps Chrome. That's why it's still sitting on the shelf. I could find it anywhere. Target had a display where you first walked in that was huge for Black Friday, and all of it was still sitting there. And I mean, Panini's the same way with NBA. I don't think NBA retail has the same. I think most people that collect NBA want the big cards, so they're gonna go hobby. They're gonna go, with the big boy stuff. They're not gonna go, and I think think NBA and football, yeah, flagship, yeah, 25. I think football and basketball tops might feel a little bit at the beginning because coming back from Panini, yeah, no, here's my thought. I'm glad you brought this up there. I think coming back from Panini, they've been with Panini now long enough where people got used to the Panini product. Now coming back to tops, as much as us old heads, it's like going, yeah, come back to tops. You're gonna love it. We missed that stuff. We missed, the old school tops football. We missed the, stadium club and finest and some of that other stuff that they did that was, that now it's just baseball. But we like to see that back in football, strata and some of this other stuff. But a lot of the newer people, the people that have come into the hobby, when they came into the hobby, is was Panini. So when it goes to tops, it's going to be an opposite of what it was for us when Panini had it come for tops, right? So I think they're going to get a little bit of a blowback for a little bit, where people are not. And I've even heard a little bit of this from the smart guys that do car ladder and all that, where I really think that this stuff tops is gonna be hard for them. And by charging more, it's not going to help them. Flagship blasters are okay. Yeah, not that I've seen any. I think Prism blasters are 40. Yeah, the new NBA guys are in for a shot. Yeah, I really do. I think it's going to be an adverse effect. So I think the old school heads like us is like, oh, we're ready for it. I'm ready for football tops. I am. I want my tops now. Football. I want my tops chrome, tops. It wasn't to me. It was just yesterday, but you got to remember the influx that started before COVID and through COVID and after was all Panini guys. So if I was Fanatics, you got to figure out how you're going to get those people to buy your product and not be looking for old Panini singles and stuff like that. And also, the NBA's got to get better. The NBA, I think right now, they made up this stupid trophy during the middle of the season that they play for. But I think to sell the product, you got to have a good product to sell, and that's the players themselves. I don't know if it's there right now like it used to be. Going to be a lot of Topps NBA releases this season. Top should make an archives NBA look at all the missing years since Panini took over. That would be that would not be bad. That would be a fun. That would I wouldn't buy an NBA. I'm not an NBA guy. I like old NBA. I'm not a new NBA. This is where, but I don't pretend to like the game. So that's my difference between me and people that buy baseball vintage. I like the old. I don't pretend to like the new stuff or anything. I know where I'm at. I quit liking the NBA 10 years ago. Um, I like the old 70s, 80s stuff, and that's where I'm at with that. And I'm not huge into that. Football, I'm a football guy. If Topps comes out with good, I was not a big Panini fan with football. I don't think they ever did a good job with football. They they just didn't. They didn't promote it well, and I mean their checklist sucked. The Prism looked the same every year. Um, there was nothing exciting about the product to me at any of their products. So it was a tough buy for me, and that's it. 2015, yeah, that's probably you're right. I mean, it just never they never won me over um, with their product, and their inserts were kind of they found an insert that kind of worked. For example, downtowns or whatever, uptowns, around the corners, whatever they're called. and they just stick with it. And it ain't much variance from year to year other than what the player is on the front. I just, uh, one thing Panini never did well was, yeah, very little stats. It's just, I'm not sad Panini's gone. Um, I didn't like the way Tops did it. I don't like the way our Fanatics did it. I don't like the way that the two leagues did it behind Panini's back. But it's business and it's huge industry right now. Um, I've been saying it for 5 years. The old Tops company was still treating it like a candy company. I've been saying it. I was saying it then, and they learned the hard way. Panini found out that they were just doing the same old, and they found out the hard way as well. And now we're at where we're at, and we gotta live with it as collectors. And believe me, if you don't like it, there's plenty of cards out there that you can buy. Right? If I stop today buying 2025 and future cards, I could still collect millions of cards from the past. Just Pete Alonso's, right? So there's always something out there. I've been saying it all along. Went back, when the stuff was you couldn't get it on the shelves. Yes, I freaked out like everybody else. And then after a month or so, I was like, well, I can still buy it. Not everything on eBay's $1,000, you know. So you just got to kind of know where you're at, know your lane, and know where you're at in the hobby. And like you said, Eric, focus, focus, focus. And you know, I once I figured out, the biggest thing that I've learned since being on YouTube was it was okay not to have to buy everything. I was still when I started making money again, where I could buy stuff on a regular. I was back in my '80s mindset of buying. I have to get everything, like every card of every set, blah blah blah. And then watching YouTube, and it's like, oh, it's okay just to buy a player. It's like, oh, so I'm not weird because I have 3 books of Gary Carter's. That's not weird. That's actually light, right, compared to other Carter's kids or somebody else. So, I I appreciate that. I'm coming up quickly on my 9-year anniversary, so I didn't realize that it kind of went by fast, and I got a kind of nostalgic by watching Don's video today, or whenever he did. I watched it today. I think it was released today. His 5-year anniversary. Talking about Eric and Nats fans video. That's how he got started. So it's a little nostalgic to see that type of thing. And Don hit me up yesterday wanting to know about Nats Man. Uh, you know, it's this time of year always, and then if you got some big thing like 5 years of YouTube, and that's awesome. So it doesn't matter if you're doing videos or participate. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. In the next 2 weeks is going to be a roundup of how I feel like my year went, and then 2026 and how that's going to go. I think some people what my plans are. I think it might be a little shocking. So until next time, like, share, tell a friend, subscribe if you haven't. Thank you to my new subscribers. Thank you from my heart, really, because this is uh, last few weeks have been amazing. So I pretty much really, really appreciate it. So until next time, see ya.